Another beautiful day in southeast Alaska. And we've had a couple of nice days, I guess. It's snowed a little bit Friday and Saturday. Sunday it cleared off, and we took the opportunity to get the winter tires out and put them on a couple of the cars, the studded snow tires and stuff. The forecast keeps showing warm weather and rain and stuff. My wife kept procrastinating, not wanting to wear out her studded tires, but finally convinced her that winter was here and we needed to change over. So we got those changed on Sunday, and it snowed a little bit that night and rained a little bit and then froze, and everything was icy yesterday. Then it warmed up yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, and we got a little bit more snow overnight, and then it started raining, and it's just pouring down rain now. It's heavy rain, and the wind has come up. We got steady winds here, 25 to 30 miles an hour with gusts to 45, 50, maybe more. Anyway, it's not a fit day today to work outside, so you'd think inside work would be the thing to do, but the power went out, so there's no inside work to do. We got the electric heater in the cabin, but it's warm enough that we really don't need any excess heat. Anyway, no work outside today and no work inside. It's noon and it's already dusky out here from the heavy clouds and stuff and the heavy rain, so it's dark inside, too dark to work on anything, or even sit back and read a book or something. So I guess it's a good time to take a nap.
Well, here's some really heavy snow falling down now. Holy cow. There it comes.
Looks like my dance card's filled up for the foreseeable future. It's been snowing in fits and starts for the last month and a half. We'll get a few inches of snow and it'll freeze for a day or two, then it'll warm up and rain. Rain has been coming and keeping most of the snow washed off up until a couple days ago, and the snow started coming down and doesn't look like it's going to quit anytime in the near future. Today's December 3rd, 2021, my little brother's birthday. He'd have been 66 years old today. Well, it snowed about 4 or 5 inches yesterday, and it snowed 1.5 inches, 2 inches overnight. And this morning about 7 o'clock, 7:30 or so, it started snowing, and we've got about 1.5 feet of snow since then. Oh, and the forecast looks like snow for the foreseeable future. Temperatures right around that freezing range, down to maybe 28 degrees at night, 34, 35 degrees, 34 degrees in the daytime. So this is wet, heavy snow. It'd be pretty good rain if we were getting it, but it's wet, heavy snow, so we've got to take care of it. Well, it's going to come off the roof of the house on its own. When I built the house, I built it with a 5/12 pitch. So that snow will slide off of there. Now, once in a while it'll warm up, the water will go through, and then it'll freeze down on the roof, and we'll get a heck of a snow and ice buildup on there, which is pretty nasty. It's not from the heat of the roof like, you know, in some houses that aren't insulated well. It's just because of the weather around here the way it is. Warms up and the snow melts, freezes onto the roof, and it'll build up sometimes 1 foot or more thick of solid ice on there, so it can come crashing down off there pretty hard. But this is wet, heavy snow. And it's fairly warm, so that stuff is just sliding off there on its own. Unfortunately, I didn't get around on the other side of the house there where the gutters are. That's how we get our water, is through the gutters off the house there on that other side, and I didn't get over there to take the gutters down before it started snowing here. Well, like I said, this is wet, heavy snow, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on it and have to shovel off the roof of the hangar, because that's fairly flat roof, pitched roof there, and it's not made for a big snow load, so we get about 2 foot of snow on there. We shovel that off. But everything else around here is made for a snow load, and it has held up under 4 feet of snow, almost everything around here or more. It's snowing heavy again now. Well, I'm going to go get the Bobcat warmed up and get the driveway plowed out, I guess. So. Well, I got the driveway cleaned out. More snow there than I thought there was. It took quite a bit to get it cleaned out. That's wet, heavy snow, so it packed, filled up the bucket of the Bobcat. It gets packed in there and then doesn't want to come out. And then it packs onto the driveway here. And I don't really want to try digging that down because I don't want to be digging up the gravel that's underneath it. And this road is not froze up, so it's not hard or anything underneath there. A lot of times in the wintertime we'll get freezing weather first and the ground will freeze up hard, and then I can go ahead and put as much pressure as I want on there. But right now the ground is soft, so I don't want to put too much digging in there, trying to keep from digging up any of that rock, that D1, the crushed rock I had put on there this summer. But so far I'm doing pretty good. My wife got busy while I was running the Bobcat, and she shoveled out around places and threw snow out to where I was plowing so we could get rid of it. And then she got the shovel and went around the cabin down there and actually banked up around the cabin pretty good on two sides there. It'll help keep the cabin warmer. So I suppose I'm going to have to get up on the roof of the hangar and shovel that stuff off of there. It's not a heavy load on there right now. It could take twice as much as what it's got. But if it warms up and starts raining, then that snow soaks up that rain pretty quick and gets a lot heavier a lot faster. So it's better to get it off of there and not take a chance of it getting too heavy. I've been running the tracks on the Bobcat. I put those on there to run around here for doing that work around here in that soft ground, and it transfers a lot more power to those wheels when I was spreading that rock out and stuff. Usually I'd take those tracks off and put tire chains on for plowing snow, but I kind of leaving them on there for right now to see how they work. I've plowed a lot of snow over the years. Started out when I was about 15 years old on bulldozers. Well, I plowed a lot of snow on track machines, and they work pretty good. The nice thing about them is they got a lot of flotation, so you can build snow out over low spots and pack it down and ramp it up and stuff, and actually build snow roads and things like that. I built parking lots, double the size of the parking lot up on the ski resort when I was plowing snow up there. Had buses parking on it. They were 30 feet off the ground on packed snow, and we built roads out into the woods to log on that people come along and wonder how the hell you ever logged in that area before, because there's not a sign of it. And that was before helicopter logging. So they work pretty good for that, but they can be helpless when you get on the steep ground or some of the icy ground, because they start sliding. It's just like being on skates. Usually I don't like a track machine for plowing snow. Chains work a lot better. They concentrate a lot more weight on smaller area as they bite into the ice and stuff. But so far these are working out okay for this. We'll see how they work. Big problem that I've got with it was that the tracks are wider than the bucket is, so that makes a little bit of a mess. The tracks kind of go into the unplowed snow and stuff, but like I said, so far it's working out okay. We'll see how it goes. If it starts to be a problem, I'll just go ahead and take the tracks off and put the tire chains on. But it's dark now, getting dark now, and actually we got some blue sky and stuff around here. Well, it would be blue if it wasn't dark. Heavy snow buildup. The snow was cascading off the tree limbs there and making pretty cascades there coming off the big trees and stuff. And well, it's pretty like this, covers up all the ugly stuff, all the mess we got and everything, but it's sure a pain in the ass. Saturday, December 4th, it's a beautiful day today. Got a little bit of clouds, quite a bit of clouds, but got some sunshine, some blue sky. Snow is covering everything. You got about 1.5 feet, maybe a little more, wet, heavy snow on the ground last couple of days. Plowed the driveway out yesterday and got everything all cleaned up and all the walkways and stuff cleaned up pretty good. And then we had some heavy snow showers yesterday afternoon and last night. Fortunately, they didn't last very long. They're just short little showers, and so we got about 3 inches of fresh snow on top of what we had yesterday, what we had plowed. What I got to do now is get down there and shovel off the roof of the hangar. Like I said, there's about 1.5 feet of wet, heavy snow on there, and that hangar is so flat that snow doesn't slide off of it. The hangar is 15 feet in the front and 11 feet in the back, so that's only 4 foot of change over 30 feet. Quite a bit of snow up there to shovel. So we got some big scoops. We'll get started at it. And this is a wet, heavy snow. It was kind of fun last night or yesterday watching the house up here, that snow was just sliding off from gravity off the roof up there, and it was hanging down about 8 feet off the eaves there before it finally broke loose and came off. Well, like I said, it's a wet, heavy, sticky snow. The weight of it on the roof of the hangar is not too much the way it is now, but if we get another big heavy snowstorm, or if it turns off and rains, then it could be a trouble. But we're not forecast to get any snow for a few days, or just little showers for a few days, but it'll give me a chance to catch up on stuff. I'll go ahead and get that roof shoveled off. Everything else is stout enough that it'll hold up to the snow. Gosh, we had 12 feet of snow in 2008 and 2009. Each of those we had 12 feet of snow. Anyway, we'll go get that cleaned up, and then we'll see what else we can do after that, if I have any energy left. That's a load off my mind, as well as a big load off the hangar. Judy come up and helped me, so that cut the time down a little bit on it. Well, the first half of it went pretty fast. We're using those big scoops, and we could load a scoop up and then swing it around and dump it off the back of the hangar. But when we started getting up to the middle and farther up, then we have to take a scoop and then walk it down to the back end of the hangar there and drop it off the end. Well, anyway, that's done for now. I'm happy about that. And the pups are happy in the snow. There's the scoops we used to shovel the snow with. Had those for a long time now. They're just about wore out. The leading edges of them are all busted up. I tried to get some new ones this year. I looked on Amazon and they didn't have any that they'd send up here, and the local hardware store doesn't have any, but those things are sure nice for moving snow around if it's not froze or not too hard. I've been shoveling snow since I was a little kid. We used to just love it when we'd have enough snow that they'd close the school down. We'd wait and listen in the morning for the radio to see if they were going to close the school, and as soon as we got word that the school wasn't going to be open, there was too much snow, we'd grab our snow shovels and head out, start going door to door and shoveling sidewalks and driveways and stuff. We shovel a porch and a sidewalk off for a nickel, or a real long sidewalk for a dime, driveway out for 2 bits. And we shovel mailboxes out, and cars, all the cars used to park along the street to get plowed in. We'd shovel those out for people. And some of the people, we just, older folks and stuff, we just do it for nothing. And then shoveling roofs off when we got older, when we had a lot of snow and stuff. So primarily used a coal shovel, which is a big old wide shovel. I don't even have one of them anymore. I don't know where they all went to. The last ones went to. Of course, in this country, they don't last very long because the handles rot out of them. And I'm glad I don't have one of those anymore. There's the roof. I don't remember exactly. It's either 41 or 42 foot wide and about 30 feet long. Over there on that side over there, it only goes part way over and then drops down onto the soccer shed. Started out down here on the bottom, of course, and just scooped the snow over the edge. And that worked pretty good because there's about 1.5 inches or 2 inches of crusty snow on the roof, and we had good purchase on our feet. And of course we didn't have very far to go. But as we got up here to the upper half, the sun was shining today, and that heats up that tarp on the front, passes heat into the hangar, and of course it's going to go into the highest section of the hangar. So the ice and stuff started melting on that metal roof, and it got a little slippery. It's all right if you stayed on the ribs on the delta section of it, but if you got a little bit of snow buildup underneath your shoe, or there was a little bit of snow buildup on the flats, on the valleys, then you slip pretty good. So we got to tiptoeing around up here and made it take a little bit longer to finish that. But we got her done. That's good enough. Well, this is the inside of the hangar. And that back wall, of course, is a bearing wall. That's 2x6 spruce construction with 1x12 spruce diagonally on there. And we got 2x8 rafters that tail ends of the rafters come up on top of that wall. This is the side wall here. This would be the east wall. There's 2 of these on the east wall. I built them in 2 sections, 14 feet long each. Total length of that wall is 28 feet. And then there's a doubled up 6x here in the corner, and then one halfway down between the 2 over there underneath the wall, and that's where the 2 walls meet. So that one's doubled up, and then I made a plywood gusset there that's, I think, 4 foot. It's got 2x4s or 2x6s inside of it for rigidity. So we got 2 beams in here. That one's in the middle. That one's on the 14-foot section, and the other one is out here on the outer section where the door's attached to. They're both identical 2x6 truss construction, laminated with 1/2 inch plywood on both sides of them, glued together with resorcinol glue. Those are 40 feet long. They span from each wall, the east wall over to the west wall, and then of course I've got the gussets coming out off of the timbers on both of them, and they come out 4 feet. And then here, wide enough so that the tail can slip by it, I made some more posts to support the trusses, and I've got 2 of those, one on each side. So that's what supports the beam, and it's plenty enough to free span here with just the weight of the roof. And then the roof itself is made up of 2x8, and then I have 2x4 stretchers that go between them. And the 2x4s, basically they don't make a truss out of that. Basically what they're for, they're nailed in up here to the truss, and that's to keep it stable because it'll flex back and forth on its own. And so the 2x4s are to take the load from there and carry it back over to the top of the truss on the other side, and then I have 2x4s and 2x8s on top for rafters, and 2x4s going from that truss over to the back wall. And then of course we got the west wall there. That's the same construction as the east wall, 2x6 construction with 1x12 diagonals on it for sheeting. And then right there is the soccer shed. Actually the soccer shed's free floating from the hangar. It's not really attached to it. I can move it out of there and finish the hangar out, but basically the hangar's built around the soccer shed. Like I said, those trusses are pretty tough. They'll take the load, the free load of this building pretty easy, and they'll take a pretty good load on them, but once you start getting a whole bunch of snow on there, they're going to overload those. They're afraid they'd overload them, so that's why we get up and shovel it off. And I also split the truss in half, or into 3 pieces actually, with these 2 posts right there with the gussets. And that we have the same thing underneath the front of the hangar here, and I've got the doors attached and bolted into those braces in the front, so they split the front beam into 3 pieces. So anyway, that keeps the airplane pretty secure, but I don't trust it to hold up against a whole bunch of snow. And here, dead center in the middle of the hangar, I made a special beam there. That's 3 2x8s laminated together. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it or not. The lights are up there, but in the gaps where the roof sheeting is. And actually the roof sheeting is, I don't know, that stuff's anywhere from 24 inches wide, 16 inches, 24 inches wide, and those were 20 foot long, a lot of them. I put them up there green. Figured out why you use smaller dimension lumber on that stuff, because that was a pain in the butt getting those up there. But anyway, I took a whole bunch of used old aircraft cable, 1/8 inch stainless steel cable, and wrapped several times around that beam where each one of those gaps are, where the sheeting is there, and then I hang chain hoist up there for that. And I used that to, of course, pick the engine up off the airplane, but I've also used it to pick the airplane up. It'll support the airplane when I'm changing the floats out and stuff. Anyway, that's the hangar construction.